Hello dear ones, welcome back. I'm Mel Rentmeister, your coach for consciousness and intuition. And today we'll look at the topic of free will. Because sometimes, and I speak specifically about a conversation I've had with a lady who described a near-death experience, and she didn't want to return during her near-death experience. She wanted to stay at home. She wanted to stay over there, and she was sent back. She was not allowed to stay. So the question came up, how come when we have free will that this free will was ignored and basically someone else told her what to do and what should happen? So in the light of that, I want to look at that. Does free will exist? Is it something that is within our universe, like the spiritual universe and the evolutionary universe, let's say? What's the deal with that? And as a basis, I think it's maybe important to notice that within the structure of the universe that we are living in, yes, free will is one of the principles. And it is absolutely necessary that we have free will in order to actually allow for growth and expansion. If somebody else constantly tells us what to do, there is no growth, or the potential for growth is very small. So this free will aspect is, number one, a criteria or potential for growth, and on the other hand, a potential for surprise. Because if all the entities that are conscious have free will, then they can surprise themselves and they can surprise, let's say, the creator energy with what they do, because it's not predictable. And it depends on so many factors. So this is why it's actually very beneficial to have free will as a principle within our universe. Now the thing is, okay, but what about people who there are thousands of people who describe that they had a near-death experience, for example, and they did not want to return. They kicked and screamed and bargained and pled and begged, and they had to come back. And it was not because they wanted to. So what's the deal with that? And in order to understand that and kind of get a framework around that, I think it's necessary that we look at our incarnation in terms of there is a time before and a time after. And sometimes if we have a near-death experience, also time in between when we're not here, right? So, and also that, okay, if that's the case and everything is in evolution, if we kind of take this as the premise, so we are actually in an evolutionary process, in a developmental process all the time. We're at a certain stage. Right now it's third density. So we're at this point in our evolution, but it's a continuum. Like it doesn't stop. It doesn't start with our incarnation or end with our incarnation. This is just one incarnation of, who knows, thousands, endless incarnations, or maybe at some point you don't incarnate, but you experience, because there is no time, you experience differently, you evolve differently, but we have no concept for that. So if we look at our developmental space right now, so there was a time before we came here, obviously, because we weren't here, and there will be a time when we're not here, because everyone knows we are dying. The physical body is dying, is going to die at some point. We know that. We don't know of anyone who has actually lasted the past couple of thousands of years and is still here. So we know this. And everyone who has experienced a near-death experience also knows, okay, it continues, where we don't die and it's black. So, because otherwise they wouldn't have had their experience, right? So they have their experience, they come back, and they know it's a continuum. And that also brings us to the point of, why do we have incarnations? Okay, it's a developmental process. It's a progression. It's an evolving continuum, right? So it's about evolving. And that way, the incarnation becomes a different significance, because, okay, we came here, or we chose an incarnation, if you want to call it that, and for some it is actually a choice, in order to somehow have the best conditions to trigger, inspire development, growth, moving forward in our journey. And now, for some or for many who are not very conscious yet of where they are, and they're here, they live their 3D life, and when it's over, and they don't think about it much. For somebody who has not gained a certain amount of spiritual, let's say, consciousness, they may not be able to choose their incarnational setup because they don't know what they should choose, because they're not there yet. So they have then, and people who have experienced this or have memories of that, they experience it, or they describe that they meet with a council, or that they have guides, a guiding system somehow, angelic system, whichever you want to call it, or for different people, different experiences, and they will actually create the setup for the soul, for the incarnation, with the best kind of setup for that stage of development that soul is in. And the more conscious souls, they do that for themselves. They look at, okay, what's the next steps? What is it I want to achieve? What I want to do, what I want to grow into or out of with the next incarnation. So moving forward. And if we look at the near-death experience, then it could be a possible exit point that the soul has chosen. Maybe there are a few exit points that we might have during an incarnation where it's like, okay, you could go there, you could go there, and you set that up prior, or your team, whichever, sets that up prior. And then it may or may not happen depending on your choices of free will during your lifetime, during your incarnation, which cannot be totally predicted by the pre-incarnational committee, let's say, because of the free will thing. So that's good. So then you have, for example, a dramatic situation that needs to a leaving of the body and this near-death experience. Now, this could be an exit point, and some people do actually leave. And obviously those who have a near-death experience come back and talk about it, or come back at least with it. And so the question could be, why was I sent back? I didn't want to. Some people say, I absolutely knew why I wanted to come back. I remembered, or I was shown again what I chose prior to my incarnation, what this was about. Or they just came back with this, I remember that I chose it, but I need to find my purpose now. I don't know. So they spend months or years or decades following that search and being seekers of their own, what is it I want to do here? And while they actually do this, they develop, and that could be their purpose, that could be it. So if you or if someone is being sent back and didn't want to, sometimes they are being sent back with this feeling or the knowing there is something you have to do, it's not complete yet. Or they just arrive back here feeling maybe lost and rejected by love itself, because it's so loving over there, and feeling kind of like a rejected child and lost in this world, not knowing why. It feels a bit like, it can feel, some describe it like that, like a punishment, like I wasn't good enough to be over there, or it was so, and the feeling of mission or purpose, or what is this supposed to be about then, this incarnation, is not maybe fully there yet, or not even a little bit there. It's more the suffering of the incarnation itself, or the pains and the pointlessness, feeling of pointlessness, that could be dominant first. But the free will comes in that if a soul chooses with the team or in whichever setup to carry out a certain mission or purpose or growth process, then it could be that also the soul sets up this dramatic event and this near-death experience in order to remember why they're here. Because oftentimes people describe that they lived their lives pretty unconsciously, like on autopilot, up until the moment of that dramatic event that leads to or led to the near-death experience. And then afterwards they are more awake or more conscious, and their life changes, and they have this whole internal transformation happening because of that event. And this is also why sometimes souls might set that up as a potential wake-up call. It's like, if I don't get it done by then, because my purpose of the incarnation, or one of my aims and goals for that incarnation, is definitely to wake up and not to waste another lifetime unconscious on autopilot, then I'm going to put this in place so that, Spirit, you will remind me that I can come home, I can recharge, I can maybe even bring some knowledge and some remembrance back into this life, and the veil might be thinner for me in order for me to actually become conscious. So this dramatic event could be a service of love by your own soul, by your higher self, by your guidance system, source, universal intelligence, love, whichever you want to call it. As in, yes, it might be dramatic and you may feel you were rejected for being sent back, but this was actually the intention, that, hello, remember, the real life is somewhere else, but you came here on purpose. And even though your life may feel totally pointless, empty, lonely, painful, remember, we remind you, and now go back, move forward and do what you came to do. So it could be a complete setup of love. And if we can look at it that way, then we still have free will, because we chose this setup as a potential out of free will. And it's not like we were sent back against our free will. That was actually the agreement that the soul made. It wasn't like that was the exit point. It was like, that's the agreement to the wake-up call, if that was a wake-up call. I hope that I get this across in an understandable way, that you can grasp what I mean. And let me know whether this resonates with you. Let me know whether this makes sense, because I think it is tough if people come back, let's say from near-death experiences, and feel this sort of I was sent back, and like my home didn't want me, my family didn't want me, with this feeling. And sometimes a video like this or someone else can act as a reminder, hey, this was an act of love by your soul, by your higher self, by source, by your guidance, by the universal love force. An act of love, not a rejection, quite the opposite. They wanted to let you know, this is real, we're here, you're part of us, and now go and do what you came to do, because you don't want to start the next incarnation. Maybe you came in order to get rid of karmic stuff that you still have there, right? Energies, karmic energies. So maybe this lifetime you intended to sort this and to move up maybe into 4G in the next lifetime. So let's get rid of the karma. If you chose to exit, for example, at the near-death experience point, you wouldn't have sorted the karma. You would have had to start all over again the next incarnation in order to sort this karma before moving on. So look at, okay, I was being sent back, and maybe I felt this was against my will because I really wanted to stay home. But this was done as an act of love to remind me and to give me the support and the knowing, because I've had the experience, who I am, what I am, and where I come from. And now, okay, what is it I wanted to do here? And then follow that and ask your team and work with that. And maybe you already know when you come back, yes, I know exactly, this is why I came, and you move forward with your purpose. Yeah. Otherwise, you move forward with the search of your purpose or the finding. You follow the trail more and more and more. And this will fill your life with purpose. And this will fill your life with joy. And you will step by step remember, because you follow your soul, right? So I hope this sheds a bit of light onto the topic of free will, and also in scenarios like, for example, being sent back against your will initially, that it might make sense to some of you out there. Let me know, please. Okay. I'm going to love you and leave you just for today, and we'll talk again next time if you want to.